What's up, everyone? Welcome to Bossman Garage. Got a new project here today. Got us a two-wheel drive Tacoma SR5, and we're gonna put a 3-inch lift kit on this thing. Just a little lift kit by Torch Off-Road. So we kind of got started a little bit already. Just got it jacked up. Something we like to do is throw the tires under here just so you're a little extra safe in case the jacks fail. But we got it jacked up, we got our wheels off, and we're gonna get into it. So here's a little overview of the parts we got. It comes with the rear blocks. So you put that between your leaf springs and your axle, and it comes with new longer U-bolts. So you have that. And then for the front, it's just gonna have this spacer that's gonna go above your strut. So you use your factory bolts here, and then it comes with new bolts to bolt it in, and we'll show you that later. All right, something else that we got for this truck is, it's an optional part. It doesn't come with this package, but they say that they recommend it to help with the angles of your sway bar. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our sway bar bolts off. So we'll loosen this one bolt from here, pop this out on both sides of the truck. That way you get this sway bar nice and loose and out of the way. So the next, we're gonna take these bolts loose, so that way this sway bar can drop down and you can basically move it out of the way. So right now we have it loose on both sides, so you can move it like this, but it's still kind of in the way to get the shock out. So we're gonna loosen these, move it out of the way, and then after that we're gonna take this bolt off the bottom and pop that out. It should come out somewhat easily. You might need to tap it a little bit with a hammer just to kind of get it out. And then the top, you'll take these 3 bolts here loose. You're not going to touch this one in the middle because that's your shock and your spring assembly. And then there's one here in the back. So we'll take all 4 of those bolts loose, and then we'll be ready to move on to the next step. Alright, so here we are. So we got this taken off, so it's nice and loose and out of the way here. Gives you plenty of room to move that. We got our bottom bolt out of our shock, so that's nice and loose. Well, not loose yet. We got our 3 bolts off the top, and we went ahead and took this off. There's a one little bolt that holds this speed sensor wire, so it gives you a bunch of extra slack on that. So next we're going to pop this little pin out, and we're going to loosen this about halfway, and we're going to tap on this with a hammer and maybe a light tap on the bottom, and you want this to pop loose. And once that's loose, we got our jack underneath to help support it, and we're just going to separate this just enough to where the shock, you'll be able to grab it and pull it out, and you'll be home free after that. All right, so here we go. We got this loose. It's our upper ball joint. Just be careful when you're laying this in here, just to, watch your brake line. See, it's nice and loose. This is our speed sensor. It's got a light tension on it, but we're keeping an eye on that. And basically we took that shock and just kind of took it down, and it's out. So here it is right here. Bring that spacer over here. Yeah. So what we got next is, this is all it is this little spacer right here. So we take this thing, and you're gonna set it right here on top, just like that, and you're gonna put your factory bolts right back in, your factory nuts. And once you do that, you install it right back into place, and it comes with new bolt to put into this bracket. Just be careful, this is aluminum. You don't want to over tighten it, because then it'd be a waste. So we're gonna get this tightened on, and then we'll get it thrown back in there. Just as easy as that. We're back in, look at that, simple as that. A nice little spacer up here. Got these bolts tight, these are tight. We got our bottom one tightened up, and we just got this back in. We just gotta snug it down and get our safety pin, our cotter pin, back in it. And then last thing, we bolt this little 10 mil bolt back on, and then our sway bar, and we're pretty much done with it already. We got to do the exact same thing on the other side of the truck. So I'm not going to record that side, but we're just going to put this spacer up here before we bolt that back in, re-bolt it, and it's done. Pretty awesome kit, not too hard. And then we got to move on to the back of the truck. Okay, so we're to the point where we're ready to put the sway bar back on. So with these brackets, just got to make sure that the instructions say, the idea is to move the sway bar a little bit forward since you lowered the control arms. So you want to put the threaded hole forward of the truck, because you're going to mount this up here on your factory holes, and then your sway bar is going to now mount to this bracket. So we're going to get these put on, and then the front will be done. Alright, got the front all finished up, got everything double checked and tightened. Got this back in. Something to note, definitely take the belly pan off to work on this. It's a lot easier. I mean, it's easier to get to the bolts and everything. And make sure not to strip out these aluminum brackets, because that can easily happen on aluminum. So we got this all finished up. So we're going to put the wheels on, and I'll show you what it looks like. Then we'll look at the back. Alright, look at that. We're done with the front, about to hop on the back. You can see the back squatting a little. Alright, here we go. We're moving on to the back. Should be a lot easier. Basically, just going to put this block in. It comes with longer U-bolts and everything. So I'll show you under here. Basically, it's just going to go right in between this, right there. So what we're going to do is lift the chassis up right here real high after we take off the U-bolts, and then we're going to put a jack under the axle right here and lift it up, and then we'll take this wheel off. Once we take the wheel off, we'll be able to lower the axle using this jack enough to where we have a space between this to get the block in. Once we get the block in, we put the U-bolts back on, and it's done. Alright, so here's where we're at with this. So we got this jack over here holding up the truck, and we got this jack under the axle. You can see here we've already got a little space. Something to keep in mind, you need to take this bracket off for your spare or your emergency brake, because otherwise it gets real tight and it'll kind of hold you up. So we're going to lower it down a little bit more. I'm going to slip this spacer up under there, put the U-bolts back on, and we're done. All finished up. Got that block in there with them new bolts. We just got to put this back on here, this little bracket. We got our shock tightened down, and it's done deal. Crazy, that simple little block is going to lift us up. There it is, all finished up. This looks so awesome. Definitely a nice lift. Get all that wheel space now for some bigger tires. Gonna be getting some of those soon too. But thanks for watching.